What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to Mark Carney's recent speech at the European Political Community Summit. So, apparently, there was this gathering of European leaders and Mark Carney. As in, Canada was the only non European country that was even invited to this thing, which that in and of itself is extremely significant. Like, that is a huge deal. If I understand correctly, that is the first time in the history of this gathering that a non European leader was invited and got to speak. So it's a very big deal. And at the same time, I mean, Donald Trump, the United States president, like, where is he? He's nowhere to be seen at this. I mean, I guess his invitation must have got lost in the mail or something. But I mean, this really just proves to me that Canada and Europe, you guys are really just starting to do your own thing. And it feels like the United States is starting to get left behind in a way. So today, I really want to take a look at this and see for myself what's going on here. Because, I mean, the US, we're literally not getting a seat at the table anymore. So let's take a look.
I'd like to say thank you again for the invitation. I do think that it is fitting that Canada is the first
Yes.
non-European country to join this forum,
Yes.
as we are the most European of non-European countries.
Is that true? Like, what do Canadians think about that? Because I don't know anything about that. Like, do you guys feel European? Like, I don't know, a little je. What does that even mean? I don't know. You're like, you guys spell center wrong or different. Like in a British spelling, right? Is there more to, like, do you feel really Europe? I don't know. But I suppose when I think of all the like North American countries, I suppose Canada does fit that bill, or I don't know. And you guys like still technically have the king, like King Charles, and so yeah, okay. I mean, whether that relationship like is significant or not or whatever, it it's extremely significant that this relationship here, the modern Canada Europe relationship, is getting stronger and stronger and more important, honestly, now. And there are those historical ties. So, yeah, I haven't really thought about that.
We share a triple alignment of history, of values, and trust. Our histories are deeply intertwined. I'll refer back to the water analogy that we just witnessed with the opening ceremony, but it's personified by tens of millions of Canadians of European descent, including more than 60,000.
Well, like, to be fair, here in the United States, we're basically all of European descent here as well, or at least a lot of us. But we don't feel European at all. But I suppose it just really is based on the massive differences between our histories.
Armenians. Our shared values are born of that common history: freedom, rule of law, democracy, pluralism. And these values shape our relationships, determine our priorities, and point to our common future. Canada has consistently stood up for these values, including in recent years. From our membership of the Coalition of the Willing as one of the largest per capita contributors to Ukraine, to our leadership of the NATO Brigade in Latvia.
That's true. That's something that pops up like on social media like pretty often actually. is how much Canada has contributed to like Ukraine and apparently even more European causes and stuff that I don't even know about.
Intensifying cooperation with the Nordic countries, UK and Germany, on Arctic security, and our
Oh, yeah.
role as the only non-European participant in the European mission in Armenia.
That's right. There is like the Arctic. The Arctic area is like getting very controversial, a lot of conflict, and a lot of stuff looming over that because of a lot of people are interested in it, like Russia, the United States, like even Donald Trump threatening Greenland had to do with that Arctic stuff and the passageways and the trade routes and the resources. And I think even China is interested in it. So, yeah. And then there's a bunch of countries who literally are Arctic countries, like Canada. And I think he was saying some of the Nordic countries and stuff. And you guys already have a relationship going on there. So, this is not the first time that I've heard Canada is like really starting to like form a very strong relationship with Europe. I'm sure that relationship was always there, but this is now it's like becoming more and more common to hear like Canada, Europe. Will Canada be the next member of the EU or like and then this happened. This is like the next thing like a really big deal where Canada is the only, I mean, literally the only non European country at this European summit. So things are definitely like changing and evolving here. Um, and as an American, like I'm very, part of me is like very worried for the US because we don't really know about any of this. We're not really a part of any of this. I think that's the point, sadly, for us. That's the point for Canada and Europe, that the United States is not a part of it. But yeah, just from our point of view, it's like, oh my God, like stuff's happening.
We're demonstrating not just the strength of our values in defending the rules-based international order, as you rightly mentioned, Antonio, but also the value of our strength. And that's necessary because the world is undergoing a rupture across several dimensions in technology, in energy, in commerce, and geopolitics.
A rupture of. He's. I'd almost like him to get more specific with some of this stuff, like a rupture in technology. Is he talking about like artificial intelligence, like AI? That's certainly changing the world. But anyway, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but the world is changing, like drastically, quickly. That is definitely for sure. And yeah, it feels like here in the United States, I don't know what we're doing to like change with it or keep up with the times or it seems like Canada and Europe are like like this, getting together, talking about it, doing actual things. So that's good for you guys.
Integration is being used as a weapon by some, and the rules are not constraining the hegemons. Now, we have to actively take on the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. We know nostalgia is not a strategy, but we don't think that we're...
So I've been on like recently, I've been on kind of like a binge of Mark Carney speeches. If you've seen like a lot of my recent videos, there's been quite a few Mark Carney speeches. And there's a couple things he keeps saying or reiterating, and nostalgia is not a strategy is definitely one of them. Like he's over and over and over again emphasizing how the past might be nostalgic. It might even have been great in some aspects, but that, lingering on that is not the strategy. Like hoping for that to return is not the way. Which is really bad news for the United States, frankly, because I think a lot of Americans right now are actually really, really hoping things could go back to the way they were. Even like 2 years ago would be fine. But Mark Carney and a lot of people, a lot of leaders, world leaders, listen to him, is over and over and over again saying that that is not going to happen. So that's quite bad for us, to be honest.
We're destined to submit to a more transactional, insular, and brutal world. And gatherings such as these point to a better way forward. I think I'll close my remarks with a few observations on strategic autonomy, recognizing that security and prosperity today extend well beyond the traditional areas of food, energy, and defense, important as they are, to include space-based communications, semiconductors, digital sovereignty, critical minerals, independent payment systems, clean energy, and vaccines. And our strategic imperative is to build these sovereign capabilities with the most trusted partners, and that creates enormous opportunities for partnership between Canada and Europe.
Oh, I was wondering where he was going with that. Because to be honest, I've been curious what this summit, like what they're even going to be talking about, you know? Like, it seems to be a bit of everything, to be honest, but obviously the changing of the world order and sort of, inferring that the United States is to be left behind or become less reliant on the United States. I mean, we're not even at this summit, for God's sake. That's a pretty big, like, message right there. And all these new projects and future initiatives and, like, how it's going to open up all these opportunities and it's going to be all these relationships between Canada and the European countries to make this amazing future happen. And yeah, it's I would be more excited about this if the US was like a you know what I mean? If it seemed like we were going to be a big part of that, but I don't know. It's hard for I think any American to listen to this and be excited cuz it's like everyone else is getting on the train to Disneyland and going and you're like you're left there. You didn't even make the bus and you're just walking home. Like it doesn't feel good.
We view ourselves as highly complementary to your economic and security goals. That's demonstrated through the work we're doing with the presidencies on the new EU-Canada Strategic Partnership of the Future, building deeper relationships from digital to defense, supply chains to security. We're honored to be the first non-European country as part of the EU SAFE initiative.
Yeah, that's right. I heard about that a while ago. Canada really is breaking the mold, like, and joining all these European initiatives and groups and all these programs. And I think people said it was, like, very unlikely that Canada could ever join the EU, but it's like, maybe that is so, but that's not stopping, like, a very tight relationship from forming here with pretty like these are big deal. He's talking a lot about the military, digital things and military and that's like a really really big deal.
We would observe that in the last year we have struck $18 billion worth of critical minerals deals across 20 of the world's leading critical minerals. The way to look at this is we are warehousing these to look for government-to-government deals with our close partners and under the rubric of the G7 first and foremost.
He's literally, don't take this the wrong way, but he's literally like, he's there promoting Canada and like what Canada has to offer. He's like almost like a salesman for which is what you want. He's the representative, but also like selling. He's literally talking about like Canadian resources, minerals and oil and like, yeah, Canada's got it and we're ready to provide it to you guys. Like, and it doesn't have to be in like that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Like just because there's money involved and no. So that's got to be exciting for Canada.
But then more broadly, we're working with European partners across the technology stack from hardware, cloud infrastructure, artificial intelligence and space. And as we'll discuss later, we are an energy superpower, third largest oil producer, fourth largest natural gas, largest hydro renewable base. We're committed to addressing climate change while providing reliable, affordable energy to our citizens and partners.
It's kind of like a humble brag. I like it. I mean, Yeah, because it takes confidence to know like your worth. So he like Mark Carney is here in front of all the European leaders, and he's not like it would be lame if he was just like, "Oh, okay, thank you for inviting us. I don't have much to say, like, but hopefully we can do." And he's like, "No, Canada is awesome, and we've got all these things that you can have, that you can buy from us, that we can do with each other. We have a lot to bring to the table." So, if I was Canadian, I think I would be like pretty pleased with the way Mark Carney is like really advocating for Canada.
In closing, we're here because of your invitation. Again, thank you for that. But we're here because of the moral and security imperatives of our cooperation in the Caucasus, in the Baltics, in Ukraine, across Europe, and also because of the immense potential for our partnerships to build a better, more prosperous, sustainable, and just world for our citizens. And I'll close with this.
Okay, I was really wondering there because he was starting to list off like all the bad things happening in the world, like war and conflict and trade. I thought, is he about to like mention, because he mentioned like Russia Ukraine war. What in the same sentence was he going to mention like the United States and like a lot of the insane stuff we have done, to be honest. He didn't. He didn't and he did. Like he didn't say the US by name in any of this speech, actually. But to me, there are definitely like he's alluding to some things like this last thing he said here.
Across Europe, and also because of the immense potential for our partnerships to build a better, more prosperous, sustainable, and just world for our citizens. And I'll close with this.
Like the potential to build a better, safer, sustainable, fair world. He's saying that that can only happen if it's like Canada and Europe and like rather than that's sort of implying it cannot happen right now. And right now the United States is a major power. Maybe I'm looking too much into this, but I don't think I am. I think everyone in this room is probably kind of thinking that.
It's my strong personal view that as the international order will be rebuilt, but it will be rebuilt out of Europe. And so I'm very appreciative of the symbolism of this invitation. Thank you.
Whoa! The new world order is going to be built out of Europe. I mean, that's a statement. Um, this European gathering of elite must love that for one thing, because that's a huge compliment. But also, is that just a compliment to like get in the good graces? I don't think so. I don't think he has to even do that. Play the compliment game. So I guess I just have to assume that's his true feelings. Mark Carney truly believes that the new world order will be built out of Europe. I mean, if this is what he's been saying, like the rise of the middle powers and, trying to create a world where everybody's not just at the whim of the biggest countries like China and the United States and stuff like that, where all the other countries like have a say. And he's been saying that a lot. Uh, yeah, I mean, it makes sense because even as an American, I can see how annoying it must be to be at the whim of the United States in any way, especially at this point in time. It must be maddening in many ways. Maybe that does make sense that the new world order will be born out of Europe because Europe is obviously like tons of very successful, vastly innovative different countries. And if he really believes that, obviously it would be good for Canada to be an integral part of that. So, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting him to. That's a really bold statement. A lot to think about right there. Like the new world is going to be born out of Europe. Um, that's interesting. That's big. And certainly not what most Americans would ever want to hear. But I've been trying to follow this stuff and, given everything that's going on and the timeline we're in, and I wouldn't be shocked. It wouldn't be great for us, but I'm already starting to see signs of like the decline of the United States. I can't believe I'd ever say that. But I'm watching a video of all these world leaders, and the United States is absent. So that definitely says something. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on this speech by Mark Carney to the European Leader Summit and everything that this represents and everything that this means. It's a big deal. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canadian things that I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.